Well, it's time for episode 386 of the 3 Point Podcast. We're presented, as always, by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Make sure you follow the Wellness Center on Facebook and download the Wellness Center app. Also, I want to thank our other great partners. They include AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Shook and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Home, Nichols Painting, Rivals Taphouse and Grille. And we got big news to tell you about Rivals down the road. Just a little tease for you there. Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair, and our sponsor Spotlight, ALS of Michigan. Every dollar raised stays in the state of Michigan to provide essential care and support for those battling Lou Gehrig's disease. To request an information packet, call 1-800-882-5764. Speak with a caring, knowledgeable staff member. We must find a cure. Man, I went into a boomer mode there for a second, guys. Does anybody ever go 1-800? Everybody has cell phones. You just dial 800, right?
1-800.
Was I zoned out? What do you mean? What did you say? 1-800? What did I miss?
A telephone number, a toll-free telephone number. Does anybody even get into that anymore? You know what I mean?
I didn't know what that even meant. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to dial the 1 a lot of times anymore. That is funny.
Yeah.
Some funny things too. Like I hear my wife still uses an AOL, like her original AOL email address.
Right.
And we just laugh, like, if you're somewhere and you have to ask, what's your email address? And she says, whatever at AOL.com. Sometimes you get that look like, still using AOL?
Yeah, you got to be on Gmail. Like I have some coworkers use Ymail. I'm like, dude, this is like the worst email ever. I'll look at their like email page, like, how do you even use this? Got to get to Gmail. Got to be on Gmail.
Right. Yeah, it seems to be the go-to, and that's my personal one too. But back to ALS of Michigan, just for a second, what they do for families in Michigan, helping out with that awful disease. When somebody comes down with ALS, there's so many needs that they have in that battle, and they're not by themselves if they can work with the ALS of Michigan. So it's just a great group and great organization.
100%. It is. I'm glad that that's something that we try our best to help them as much as we can. So I'm glad that we do that. So yeah. It's a good company or foundation.
Yeah, keep the word out there. By the way, we're recording on Tuesday morning. Happy birthday number 5 to my granddaughter Sloan.
Oh, wow.
That's a big
Happy
one.
Birthday.
When you hit your 5th birthday. But we also have big news. Jared has some news to announce. Fill us in a little bit of what's been going on in Jared Fattel's world.
I like the lead in. So we talked about it a little bit off air last week. Wanted to wait until it's kind of official. So I will be heading out to Houston to work for the Houston Astros and for the Houston Rockets, doing pretty much a similar job to what I'm doing here in Detroit currently. Just was a good opportunity. I have a former boss who moved out there. He kind of recruited me out there and wanted me to join him. And yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, a little bit exciting, but it's a new challenge, and it's trying to take a step further in the media biz and try to grow as a person, try to grow in the business as well. So I'm looking forward to it. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm finishing out the month where I'm at right now, and then 17-hour road trip down to Houston, Texas. So that part's not going to be fun. It will be fun, but it's not. I mean, it's going to be hell, if I'm being honest, that 17-hour trip in a U-Haul. But other than that, once we get there, I'm excited. So, and I honestly, before we maybe get into the particulars, I have to give a shout out to Jim Woodworth, our sponsor. Yeah. He was big time. The biggest worry I had was I had basically a 3-week turnaround from when I took it to when I had to be down there. And I've never, and I sent him kind of a funny text. I was like, listen, I know you've been down to Texas, recently, and you kind of are more familiar with it in that area. And I said, hey, like, I don't have the money to buy a house, or at least to buy a house within the city, which is where I wanted to be. So I don't know if there's anything you could help me with, like with an apartment. He said, oh, yep, here, I'll connect you with this person. And then I got connected with 2 more people. And I'm not kidding you, within 24 hours, I had my apartment.
Wow.
Which, mind you, I have moved 5 times in the last 5 years, and it is hell. You reach out to 10 apartments, maybe one of them gets back to you, and you go through 50 emails just to find out that the price is $600 higher than what you saw online. This was so like painless and easy that I don't know why I've never tried to go through a realtor to get an apartment before. That was just idiot. That was kind of a light bulb moment. Like, what the hell have I been doing with my life? And then you just owe it to Jim. He's just been such a good family friend and just so helpful. But it's not even just to me. I mean, if any one of you guys reach out to him, if any one of our listeners reached out to him, I'm sure he'd treat it the exact same way. So it was just awesome how he was able to slot me in, because that was a big worry, and it just was taken care of in 24 hours, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congrats. It's an awesome opportunity for you. We can talk a little more about what you're doing or whatever. So yeah, congrats on that. It really is. I think that'll be, I know, moving away from home, I've been through a similar experience at the same age, basically. So I know it's a little bit of you might not say you're, a scary situation, but it's different. I mean, you're moving far away from home, so it is different. But yes, I just wanted to kind of second what you said, because when I've moved to different states, you're kind of like, like sight unseen. You're just maybe looking at pictures of apartments online, or, maybe you can do a video tour or, something like that. But it does help to have someone like Jim, kind of vouch for you and be like, no, this is a good person, this will be a good spot. So that is cool that he hooked you up.
Yeah, it was big time, man. I mean, that was, like I said, that was the number one worry. And I mean, I guess to me, the number one question I have going out there is, I mean, the Detroit sports teams are kind of starting to win. I might be jumping ship. I mean, I don't think you guys want to be. We're not going to be turning this podcast, and now I'm talking about the Houston Astros and
we won't allow
Houston Rockets. But yeah, I'll be curious where my fan allegiances lie. I mean, if it goes well, and I'm out there for a good amount of time, I mean, I might have to. I mean, after that Lions game, man, I might be just looking to jump ship to the Texans. So that's where I'm at. But we'll get into that. But yeah, it's an exciting time. It's a little bit stressful. I'm finishing out the month, so that's been busy at my current job. But yeah, it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, so I was go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I know Uncle Ted definitely wants to get in and talk to his nephew about his new job. So what exactly? I mean, you've told us, and we know, but for anyone, so. Obviously, you work at FanDuel Sports. There's networks like ESPN. Out in New York, there's the Yes Network that covers the Yankees. In New York, there's Nesson out in Boston that has the Red Sox and the Bruins and all that. So that's what is down in Houston. You will be working for the network that covers the Astros and the Rockets. It's got a
badass name. That's like my favorite part. Space City Home Network, and a great logo. So I'm like, man, I gotta load up on some gear, like. So it's Space City Home Network. It's like I believe it's Astros owned, and then I don't know the exact particulars, but then obviously the Rockets are on that TV network as well. But it's an Astros company, so technically I'll be an Astros employee.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, obviously you think about that. Baseball goes from spring training all the way through. Hopefully not the Astros. Hopefully it's the Tigers going through October. Right. But, for you, so that's all year. And then the Rockets, the NBA is going on right now. So, I mean, that's a year-round game.
Exactly.
You go from whenever baseball season ends, you pick right up to the NBA. NBA goes into baseball season. So, I mean, that's a year-round gig. I think that's going to be a really cool opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really exciting. By the way, you are under contract to 3 Point Podcast until next August 1st. You do realize that, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm the first thing I'm like, I'm such a nerd, but the first thing I'm like, man, I kind of want to go watch a high school football game down, like when I get down there.
Yeah.
I think it's more the northeast, the west side of Texas, which is like where Permian Panthers and like Midland. That's where I think is really like, religion in Texas is the other side of the state, but. Yeah, pretty soon we'll be talking about gas station coin flips and crap like that on the Prep Spotlight instead of just mid Michigan. So that's one way it might shift a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe if Ferris gets to
Frisco.
If Ferris goes to Frisco, I don't know how far that is from Houston, but it's in the same state at least.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. It's like it'll be like, yeah, let's. How far are you from San Antonio? It's like, it's like 6 hours. How far are you from I don't know what other cities are on the other side of Texas. It's like 12 hours. It's like, holy hell, like this is basically a country in itself in Texas. So
well just to kind of recap what you guys have done, you're both from Grand Valley State University, graduates there, obviously moved into the media world. Matt, you went right from GVSU to the local station, Fox station in Grand Rapids, correct? Same station you started at, right, Jared?
Yep. Fox
and
17.
Your journey went from there down to Detroit. It was Valley at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2021 where I started there.
Okay, then to FanDuel and now to Houston, man. Quite a journey. Both you guys are kind of similar, Matt. You went from the Fox station right directly to ESPN.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of funny because Jared, you're 26, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 26 when I got the job at ESPN and moved out to Connecticut. And it makes me think back to way back. I don't remember what number it was, but when we had Ryan McGee from ESPN on,
yeah.
I mean, this might have been single digit 3-point podcast.
I think
Oh
so.
yeah.
This was early days, but I remember one thing he said. I mean, and that was so a while ago now, and he's moved up. He has his own show now, and other stuff.
Right.
He basically said something along the lines of like, in the media business, you almost like can't say no.
Right.
Like if you get the opportunity, if you want to grow. I mean, if people want to stay local and stay where they're at, that's fine. A lot of people do that, but like if your goal is to like grow and advance and maybe get bigger opportunities, sometimes you got to take a chance. You got the opportunity. You can always move back. And that was kind of what my thought was. I had the opportunity at ESPN. I wasn't going to say no. I liked working at Fox 17 in Grand Rapids. I wasn't going to say no to ESPN. 15 years later, still here. I mean, I've moved down to North Carolina now, but it's one of those things. I mean, you said 2021, you got your job at Bally, so you've already been there 4 or 5 years. Right. So, I mean, you could probably be like that went by and like
it did. It really did. And that's like that was exactly my thought process was if I don't really heavily consider this, more responsibility, better job, then I probably should just get out of the industry because it's like I don't know. It's you kind of have to move around a little bit in this industry to kind of make it up or to grow. And to me, it was just another challenge. It's like let's see what you're made out of type thing. A little bit more responsibility and kind of force myself to step out of the comfort zone a little bit and try to grow as a person and as an editor and as a producer and all that type of thing. So yeah, it's definitely it's bittersweet because Thanksgiving will be probably the last time I really see a lot of my family and stuff for a while. But other than that, I'm very excited. You
always got to plan your vacation in the summer to go to Black Lake, right?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. It's I can't imagine missing that. But then it's like, man, you get like a wedding, you have this, you have that. It's like you kind of start doing the math. It's like, can I come for it? But that is definitely the number one. I got to make it to that. That's my number one thing.
Your vacations are going to turn into what ours have when we go back home. We take usually a week and a half. Sometimes it's about 2 weeks. And I don't think we stop doing stuff. It's all right. This day we're going to see these people.
Right.
This day we're going to Lake Manitou to do a Tooncast. This day we're doing this. So I mean, that's what your vacations might turn into. But it's really cool. And I mean, I don't know if it's public knowledge that your girlfriend is moving down there with you.
Yep. She's took a little bit more convincing, but she's a good girlfriend and supportive. So yep, we're going down it. And really the thing that's going to be hell with the road trip is she has a cat, and it's my cat too now at this point. But you're gonna have to drug him up and make him pass out in the back seat. He's riding with her. I'm not riding in the U-Haul. He might have a panic attack in the U-Haul. So yeah, that's more so her problem. But yeah, that's another hassle with it is getting that cat down there. So
I was just gonna say, and this is half joking, half serious. It seems like you guys are very happy, and you said she's an awesome girlfriend. You guys have been together a while. This will be a good test for you guys too. Yeah, so this will be a good chance for you to see, like, all right, is this long term? Is this a forever thing? Because I mean, you guys are moving out of state, away from family. So no, I think it'll go well, and I'm happy for you. It's cool.
Last question on your move and family related. I assume your dad was just fine with it. He'll miss you and all that, but how was mom and how was her mom?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were maybe a little bit shocked. I mean, here's the thing: like when I first got called about this job, it was when we were at Black Lake. So this has been a long, drawn-out process. I guess he just wanted to hire the right person. I guess that's what I tell myself anyway. Sure. But yeah, so it's been kind of in the works and something that's been a possibility since then. So by the time it actually came through, I think most people kind of expected it. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I think mom's definitely a little bit sad. I don't know if dad could really care less, to be 100% honest. But yeah, that's it's a little bit bittersweet letting them know. And then her mom obviously was a little bit shocked, but supportive as well. So
well, Houston's not a bad place to visit.
Yeah, give him an excuse to go down to Texas, and you got some places to visit down there. But are you going to be able to? I mean, we'll get a couple prep spotlight updates, and later in the show. Are you going to be on duty for the state championship games? I know that's like one of your favorite weekends of the year to work.
I love it. I loved it. No, so it's no longer with FanDuel. It's with they're doing it through NFHS this year, and it's a bummer. I mean, it's a win and a lose. I mean, one, I think the TV product will definitely take a step back. I don't know how it could. I mean, it's
Right.
It's more so streaming. It's kind of like what you watch, when you're watching a Corona football game at Nick and East Field. I'm sure they'll have announcers. I'm sure they'll have some replays and some other looks, but it's not the same production that it's going to be like it has been for the last 10, 15 years at FanDuel. That was my favorite week of the year. It was a busy week, and that's why I'm almost looking forward to Thanksgiving more so this year than ever, because I actually can enjoy it. I don't got to be at Ford Field at 3 a.m. the next day. So that's all you're thinking about on Thanksgiving is, man, I'm going to house this food. I'm going to feel horrible tomorrow, like waking up at 3 a.m. So now I actually get to sit and enjoy Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, a little bit of a bummer not doing the games this year. The only thing, though, that's a killer is I believe the games this year are on Friday and Sunday.
They are.
So you have an early. So, and I think about this for the people who are going to have to set up the truck there. Think about you're getting there at 3 a.m. to set up the truck. Then you got to tear down the truck for Michigan State to come in. Then you got to get there at 3 a.m. again on Sunday, build up the truck. So that part of it, I'm not going to miss. Like, that's the worst possible situation with how they set that up. And that's just Michigan. I think it's Michigan State that's playing there. That's just them doing that. So in the past, they played that game on Friday, which was nice. But yeah,
I'd be curious if they let the. Well, I guess it's not FanDuel. If they let the truck stay, because I mean,
you would hope, man. I don't know. It's a big show with those Big Ten games, so I don't know. But yeah, that's not my problem.
That's big news. I mean, that's been going. You said 10, 15 years, Ted. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, back when it was Fox Sports Detroit, high school football games, Thanksgiving weekend. So I mean, this is a long time ago. They've been doing this, right?
Absolutely. In fact, crazy. Yeah, I mean, as far back as I can remember, in all the state championship games I've done, 20 or 21, I can't remember the total. There's always been, Fox Sports or Fox or FanDuel or Bally or whoever was there. We're always there. In fact, Jared, you just kind of shocked me. I'm still technically sports director at AZee 92.5. Yeah. I didn't realize that FanDuel wasn't doing it. It's NFHS.
Well, I think we forgot, because I remember you shared NFHS. I think you shared an article 2-3 months ago with us that was like the history of TV on the state finals TV, and it's going to be NFHS this year. And it's a bummer. I always thought that was cool. I mean, you would think about it. You would have the Sky Cam from like the Lions game that Fox would just leave behind for us to use just because there was a Philip Fox company. It's like you're getting a Sky Cam on a high school football game. I always was really proud. That's probably the most proud I've been of our work that we did, was what we did for a lot of those games. Yeah. And obviously one that was really fun was doing the Corona game. Obviously, wish it was a little bit better of a result. It was kind of hard to watch that in the truck when I was talking all week. Like, man, Corona's like, you don't understand. Like, Corona's really good. Like, they're like, and then I felt like I remember this was kind of insider story, but I'm glad with how they battled back. But I remember, because think about it, you hear Grand Rapids Catholic Central, and you've worked these games for 10 plus years. A lot of my coworkers, like, you see the Farmtown matchup versus the Grand Rapids Catholic Centrals of the world, and you go, like, they know how it's probably going to turn out. Right. And I remember, like, I was telling my producer, who's actually the one that's in Houston, Chris, I was like, listen, if you got to stay. If it's a close game, you got to stay, like, through the game, because he wasn't producing that game. He produced, like, the previous two or whatever. He's like, all right. Sure enough, like, whatever it was like 14-0. Like, really quickly, I just see him like walking out of the truck. Hey, 10 now. It's like, hey, that's not over yet, man. It's not over yet. And they did battle back. They did. Yeah, that was one of the most fun things I've done is working and getting prepped for that Corona game. I felt like I was like an ace in the hole. I was like, dude, I know every little thing about this school, so I can give you guys whatever information you need. But yeah, so that was definitely one of the highlights, was being able to do a Corona football game.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And now you're going to get to have all that insider stuff you're going to learn everything about the Astros. You're going to learn everything about the Rockets.
Well, congratulations again, man. It's awesome news. Yeah. We'll miss you, but hey, we'll be checking in with you every week on the podcast. Like I said, you're still under contract, so
yeah, buddy.
We'll keep it moving. Nothing wrong with that. All right, well, let's talk some state sports here. Let's get into the Lions right after this short pause. All right, I think last week all of us were kind of saying, this is a must-win for the Lions to stamp, where they're going to be in the playoffs and all that. And there's a lot of thoughts we're going to put on the table. So why don't you guys start it off?
I mean, I'm pretty. I don't know what the word would be. I was going to say disappointed. I mean, I guess I could say disappointed, but I mean, because where they sit right now, if the playoffs started today, the Lions wouldn't be in the playoffs, and so I mean that would be I mean, that was essentially they're basically the rest of the way they're playing playoff games. They have to win the rest of the way. And they do have their next 3 games are home, Giants, and then Thanksgiving Packers, and then the Cowboys. So those are 3 winnable games, but they end the year at Minnesota, who beat them earlier, and at Chicago, who's in first place in the division. That last game against Chicago in Chicago could be awesome. Division. I mean, right now it's scheduled as a flex game. That might get flexed to Monday night, or that might get flexed to Sunday night or something. And in Chicago in January, it's pretty disappointing because I think we were all excited about Dan Campbell going back to play calling because of how it went, a few years ago when he took over play calling, and then obviously how it went two games ago against Washington. I mean, they absolutely destroyed Washington, but it was the polar opposite against the Eagles. The Eagles, I mean, I think it's also give credit to the Eagles. Their defense absolutely balled out, and they're the Super Bowl champs for a reason.
They're tough.
I mean, they're really good defense. But we didn't have like a counter punch, sometimes you have that, a defense comes out, maybe forces a couple 3-and-outs or forces a turnover, like what happened on the tip pass on Goff.
Right.
But then, you kind of battle back, and, they had the one touchdown from J-Mo that immediately all the vibes went away.
Yeah. Right.
And so it was just like, it was a weird game to watch because the offense just like couldn't do it. They kept getting Gibbs in space, but then they couldn't finish the drive. All the 4th downs. And we can talk about that in a minute, but that's what was disappointing to me. Defense balled out. The defense was great. Defense did everything that they needed to do to give the Lions a chance to win. It was the offense just looking like, what is going on? And you guys know my thoughts on Goff. I like him, but I don't like him. I just, in 2025, he's a very limited quarterback. And I seriously question, I'm not like out on the Lions. I'm not saying, Ted, cancel your Super Bowl trip and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if Jared Goff is a quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl. Because there's the Super Bowl champs right there, and they made Goff look like he shouldn't even be in the NFL. It was bad.
It was. I mean, here's where I'm at with it. Is this team just not that good? I mean, the offensive line has been getting mauled. It seems like week in, week out. The defense is solid, but of course they're banged up again. Dan Campbell was probably his worst game he's had as a coach. And we love that he's a gambler, and we love the 4th down thing. But here's what analytics doesn't take into account. It doesn't take into weather. It doesn't take into the fact that you're playing the best defense that I've seen in years, since maybe Seattle in the Legion of Boom. And just how that game was going. Neither team could complete a forward pass. Neither team could move the ball. It was an old school college type game where you just needed to win the field possession or field position. And I just felt like we blundered that. And maybe one of those plays goes differently, and that's what Dan Campbell's kind of saying, any one of these plays, if it's different, it's a different game. It was a miracle to complete a pass against that defense is how it felt all game. I don't know about you guys. This is exactly what that game reminded me of. I don't care. It was like, it didn't matter what the score was. It reminded me of the national championship, Michigan versus Washington, where I just had my feet kicked up the whole time watching our defense just maul them. It was like, it didn't matter if we were up 3 points. It didn't matter if we were up 7. Didn't matter if we were up 10. It felt like they were never going to score. And that's how it felt if you're an Eagles fan. It just was, if you weren't having a big-time J-Mo or Gibbs play, which Gibbs was the lone bright spot, man, he looked great. He looked like the best player on the field in terms of skill position. He really popped. But you even have J-Mo, another bright spot. It's dude, if J-Mo does that again, he needs to be benched. I don't care if it's in a big-time game. This is a grown man. This is an NFL player getting paid. I know it's funny. It was hilarious, and I did love it. But at the same time, it just can't keep happening. There's so many celebrations you can do. Do not touch the goalpost. Literally, you can do anything. Just don't touch the goalpost. We all know that. So that was a bummer. To me, the Goff thing is, I've always said that the last pushing the chips in will be making a trade just like the Rams did with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's a good quarterback. To me, it's the people are the secret to making him look horrible. It's yep, you need a number 1 pass rush in the league. You need 80-mile-an-hour gales of November type wins. You need at night game at Lincoln Financial where they already have a sweet secondary. You need your star tight end out. He looked horrible in terms of Jared Goff. Also, can we talk about Amon-Ra? What the hell has been going on with Amon-Ra?
Right.
I think it was the wind that was effing with these receivers. I don't. How else do you explain Mr. Sure Hands having basically 2 drops? Another one where I don't even think he located the ball, just sailed right over his head when it looked like it was catchable. So the offensive line did Jared Goff no favors. I mean, the batted balls was also just like a kick in the groin, where it's like, man, even if we're not getting to you, we're still batting passes down. And then his wide receivers didn't help him at all. Brock Wright is a fraction of what Sam Laporta brings to an offense. And it sounds like Sam Laporta might not be back this year. That's who knows.
Depends
and that's a big time blow. It's just, to me, you start to wonder, you start to look around, you see Ben Johnson having success. You see how this offensive line has become, a liability, not our strength, like it has been the last 3 years under Dan Campbell. And you just realize maybe this is kind of like a rebuilding year. And it's a year where we just got to try to get things right this offseason. It comes back, and this has become the scapegoat, is I feel bad for Isaac Teslaw. I mean, But my God, when you see Jalen Phillips, who looks like a Greek god on that Eagles defensive line, and he's had 12 pressures in 2 games since they've gotten him, and they only gave him a 3rd rounder for him. And then you realize we gave up like 2 third rounders just for a guy who's not even like returning punts, not even returning kicks, not even really touching the field. It's hard to stomach that. It feels like we're building a team. Like I sent this joke. I'm in a fantasy dynasty league where I'm like, I like Aaron Jones, who's a running back. He's like a top 10 running back when he's healthy. And I'm like, people are like trying to have me trade him for like a 5th round rookie draft pick. I'm like, dude, what are you? I guess like Brad Holmes, like you're just preying on like the hope that you have Isaac Teslaw type draft pick that pans out in 5 years. Like, what are you talking about? This is production right away. Like, why are you not just taking him? Like, I'm trying to tank him. Anyway, it just feels like that draft pick, it wasn't going to swing a Super Bowl or not. But man, I mean, when you look at guys are going out left and right on the offensive line. Our defensive line played pretty well, but we could have used more help. I mean, the Eagles had the best defensive line in the league, and they went out and got help. Mm-hmm. So just to me, Brad Holmes, it was not your best deadline. I understand you're not going to be totally change a roster, but if it's Super Bowl or bust this year, I just don't see this team winning a Super Bowl. They seem severely flawed. And one last thing I'll say, Mike Valenti said, and I agree with him, if Ben Johnson's calling those plays, we win that game. And maybe that's why Dan Campbell had his worst game as a decision maker, is because he's so tied up trying to just manufacture first downs against this defense, where he's taking too much of his brain power toward that instead of thinking about these 4th down situations, thinking about when to take a field goal, when to punt. Like, it just was a bad game, really top to bottom, other than our defense, which played pretty well.
You guys laid it all out pretty well there. I mean, it's obviously a gloomy November day here after that Lions performance. And Matt, we're similar on Goff, but I'm more on his side. But I can't defend him in that game. I mean, he had a horrible game. That's worst game Goff has ever had, and it kind of lays into what you've talked about before, which is true. Outdoors, bad climate conditions. He just does not play well. But it's not all his fault. We know that. That offensive line gave him no time. And I'm trying to look at this loss with the glass half full. Okay. Now that I've had time to digest everything, at least I was going to before you guys just laid it out. Now I'm depressed again. But here's what I'm going to say. Okay. They lost by a touchdown to the Super Bowl champions, playing perhaps the worst game I've seen a Lions team play in a long time. I mean, they had 5 batted down passes. They were 3 of 13 on 3rd down, 0 of 5 on 4th down. Incredibly stupid fake punt play.
That was the worst
play. I'm not saying the fake punt don't do it, but what they ran, it hardly ever works.
Real quick, and then you can keep going. This number 15 with the mullet hair, every time he touches the ball, I want to rip my hair out. I don't have any hair. But what is he doing? Why is this guy like our number 1 like ball carrier and these critical positions? Anyway, I'm sick of that guy. Go ahead.
But all I was going to say is, okay, they're 6-4. Matt laid it out. Right at this moment, they would not qualify for the playoffs. But like you said, 3 home games coming up. I'm still a believer in Dan Campbell. They're beat up, but they can regroup at home. They still can make it to the playoffs. And we talked about it way at the beginning of the season. This has not been the most friendly schedule in the NFL for the Lions this year, right? So if they can get into the playoffs with this schedule, even if that means they have to go on the road, I think they can still, if they're the key factor is if they can get healthy. If they can get healthy, maybe not, Laporta may not come back, which is going to be real tough. But if the other players, the defensive backs, the rest of the team can get healthy, especially that offensive line, I'm going to keep the belief until there is no belief to have.
Right. That's part of the thing. Just get to the playoffs, and then you just kind of never know what can happen. Sometimes the worst team going into the playoffs makes the run, to the NFC Championship or AFC or the Super Bowl. You see that a lot of times. Lions were the number 1 seed last year, got beat in in their first game after the bye. So, I mean, sometimes it is just get to the playoffs and hopefully be as healthy as possible. If Laporta is out the rest of the year, that's a huge loss because Brock Wright, we like him because he's your solid blocking. He's a Dan Campbell tight end. He can block, he can catch you a couple passes, but he's not Sam Laporta. So that would be a big loss if Laporta's gone. And then, the O-line, they got to figure something out because that was the strength. And that's why the last 2 years ago when they went to an NFC title game, then last year when they were the number 1 seed, that was the strength of the team. Frank Ragnow and the rest of the O-line, that was the strength of that team. That's why Jared Goff was so good. That's why the running game was so good, because that offensive line was just dominating basically every game. And you see that. I mean, you don't have a dominant O-line, and it's not to rail on Goff and say that he is the reason. He's the only thing, but you see that's just not his strength. Scrambling, getting away from pressure. You talk about Ben Johnson in Chicago. Caleb Williams can scramble and throw on the run. You see Bo Nix with the Broncos is scrambling and throwing on the run and picking up yards. Jalen Hurts, when he wants to, will scramble and pick up yards. It's just how football is nowadays. And if you don't have a quarterback that can do that, you need a completely dominant offensive line to protect him. And the Lions offensive line, and same with you saying you trust Dan Campbell. I do feel like they'll get something figured out as long as they're healthy. Injuries, you can't sometimes you can't adjust around the injuries, but I do think they'll figure some stuff out. It seems like the offense is just in a funk. I think we talked about it a week or two ago, a few weeks ago, the Gibbs / Montgomery thing.
They don't know how to do it.
It throws the offense out of whack. It's clear that Gibbs is the best running back, and we like David Montgomery. He's a good running back, but the way they mix him in, Gibbs was, like you said, Jared, Gibbs was the best player on the field on Sunday night. But then, you got Montgomery, so you have to get him in there. And I get it. Sometimes, Gibbs might need take a break, catch his breath. But he'll be out for a whole drive because they've got to give a whole drive to Montgomery. And if the offensive line isn't dominating, it's clear Montgomery isn't a running back like Jahmyr Gibbs. That part, I'm almost like just make Gibbs the bell cow.
I'm with you on that, Matt. I am with you, man. I mean, you bring in Montgomery. Okay, if Gibbs needs a rest, a play, maybe 2, but you don't have to give him the whole drive, right?
Well, here's what's dumb is they'll bring in they don't use Montgomery for short yardage. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Like, we got stuffed on one of those 3rd and 4th downs with Gibbs twice. It's like, and it was like, I still can picture the play in my mind. Gibbs ran forward and ran into his offensive lineman, just fell completely backward. David Montgomery can get you a yard every time. I don't understand why on 3rd and 1 we're handing it off to Gibbs. It just is. It's idiotic. I mean, Gibbs is like my size. He's not. He's bigger than me, but he basically is like my size. Like, Montgomery, his specialty is the tough yards. He's always falling forward. That's what, to me, makes no sense. I don't know if it's the running back coach that's handling their substitutions. I don't know if that's Dan Campbell. I don't know if that's Morton. I have no idea. It's been screwed up all year. And on short down yardage, it makes 0 sense to have Gibbs out there and have him try to run in between the tackles against Jalen Carter and that freaking defensive line. Why is Montgomery not in for those plays? Why are we running a fake punt instead of giving it to Montgomery? Right. I'm pretty confident Montgomery can get a yard against just about anybody. Let's utilize him a little bit more in that sense. But other than that, I'm with you. It's like, you got to let Gibbs run, but he seems so kind of boomer bust with his, it's like he's either getting 0 yards or 10. It's like he's never setting you up in 2nd and 7, 2nd and 5. And more so, I think that's just because the offensive line is a mess right now. I mean, I think our 2 lowest rated, PFF players were our guards. Like, there was a play where Ratledge just got ragdolled by the defensive line. And it I mean, you see that and you go, holy hell, this is gonna be a long game.
He's had some rookie moments. He's also been really good. I think sometimes I wonder if him playing next to Penei Sewell, if that kind of helps him out. I mean, not at this point.
You would hope.
Probably, it probably is a big part of it. But he is a rookie going up against that Eagles defensive line. He didn't have his best game, and then he even got hurt. He got banged up in that game. So it's just every team has injuries. That's the thing. It's not a woe is us as Lions fans. Every team has injuries. It just seems like we can't catch a break. We start to get some guys back on defense, and then now we might lose Laporta for the year, or
with how Brad Holmes has built the team is like if one guy goes down, there's nobody like other than the secondary. Which just wait till playoffs and they're facing this Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams and they'll get ripped apart. Just wait until it really matters.
We're lucky that Amik Robertson has stepped up because otherwise, to your point, like man, our whole secondary is hurt.
That's like with the Eagles, where it's like, man, they already have this great defensive line. Let's go add to it. Let's go get Jalen Phillips. Like Brad Holmes doesn't do that. It's like, man, everybody needs to stay perfectly healthy. There's nobody behind them. To me, with Laporta going out, it's time for T-Slaw to do something. I don't care if he's a rookie.
Right.
That's where it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to get your nose in there and block for us as well.
He's a big.
We can't rely on Brock Wright as a number 3 pass catcher, which is I guess what he would be in this offense basically as it's currently constructed. It's time for T-Slaw, time for Brad Holmes to show us why we did this draft pick instead of bulking up this offensive line, bulking up the defensive line, because with a team that's essentially win now, which is what it feels like. I understand that we're built for maybe the next 3-4 years. I just never see a world where T-Slaw is contributing with J-Mo, how he is, with Amon-Ra, with Laporta, who's maybe top 3 tight end in the league. Like I just don't see a world where T-Slaw was worth that pick. So it's going to be when one of these guys is hurt, and now it's time for you to step up.
Yeah. Yeah. The Eagles definitely got the best of the 3rd round trade. That's for sure. Right. Yeah. I mean, that was incredible move. And you look at that Eagles team, that defense is set up for another Super Bowl run for sure. I mean, they'll be tough to get by.
Yeah, they add at the deadline. They were already good, and then they add Phillips at the deadline. I mean, sometimes people are pointing to that. Why didn't Brad Holmes? Sometimes there's just not like the right move. I mean, when you see they got Phillips for a 3rd rounder, it's like, I mean, we probably could have done that.
Sure.
But, maybe Brad Holmes did make those calls and it just didn't. It wasn't out there, I saw people saying, how did you not add offensive linemen at the trade deadline? Like, it's not like the best offensive linemen are just available at the trade deadline. Right. Usually the best offensive linemen are on the best teams, so, sometimes there's just not the move to make. It would have been nice to see something, some depth now that we're seeing these injuries, but there's other, like Brian Branch has had a weird year, that he gets his paycheck and then, he has his big payday coming up. Right. I know he's had some injuries and,
Joseph's been out. He got paid.
Right. Kirby Joseph, it's just the one bright spot has been the linebacking crew. Jack Campbell is an absolute beast. And Anzalone is just
playing well.
He's always a good player. So that's one bright spot. What do you guys like? Do you sometimes watch? We're all big Aiden Hutchinson fans. He deserved the payday. I never have understood the hate on Aiden Hutchinson. He anchors that defense. Sometimes he like disappears though. Like you see you watch Myles Garrett and Myles Garrett is getting 5 sacks a game. You watch Brian Burns and he's got like 13 sacks this year. And you watch Mason Crosby with the Raiders last night and he's getting strip sacks. And sometimes like it'll be the 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter. And I'm like, oh yeah, what's Hutch been doing? And I know he's usually always getting pressures and he's around the quarterback, but sometimes, and this isn't to criticize because there's a lot of people out there who criticize him, but sometimes, I'm just like, man, where is that? It felt like that game against the Eagles, like we needed that one big turnover, a pick 6, a strip sack that would have put the offense at the 20-yard line ready to score. And that's where I'm like, that's where Hutchinson, Micah Parsons makes plays like that for the Packers now. It's like, man, that's where Hutch, like, you got that payday, man. Like, where's that one big play? I'm not criticizing, but I don't know if you guys watch games and sometimes have that, like, man, where's Hutch been?
He's getting double teamed a lot, and that to me is an indictment on Brad Holmes, where I don't even know who the hell the other defensive end is. It's a no-name guy who is. He looked horrible. I mean, he got suckered in a couple times where Hurts ran for big first downs. He lost his edge a couple times, and then it's like these defense. Like, we have a couple good defensive tackles. We saw that on the tush pushes, which was awesome to see us stuff those. Can we get rid of that play? I mean, it is like, what the hell is going on? It's like this right guard is like tapping the ground. I'm like, what is this? I was watching at a bar, so I wasn't able to hear everything that Collinsworth and Tirico were saying. But yeah, to me, Hutchinson is solid, but he needs help. He needs another, all these other pass rushers. Like, think about it. Myles Garrett has a Mason Graham now. Rashawn Gary and the Packers.
Max Crosby.
Oh, yeah. I'll go ahead. Mason Graham is with Myles Garrett. I mean, even Micah Parsons has help on that defensive line with Rashawn Gary. It's like Aiden Hutchinson is with a bunch of no-names, man. And nobody else that can really rush the passer. A couple of good defensive tackles, but nobody that's an actual pass rusher. So if I'm the Eagles offensive line, I'm just saying, yep, let's just slide to him every time, double team him on every, must throw situation, and we'll be able to minimize him. To me, it's a Brad Holmes issue.
Yeah.
Can't have enough pass rushers. Eagles are showing us that, and we saw that with the Michigan football team back in 2023, man, where it's good to have one like stud pass rusher, but you know what's even better? Having 7 very good ones that you just are constantly cycling through, and they're always fresh. And to me, that's what the Eagles do.
Yeah, you talk about Michigan, kind of like this is kind of to the point of what you're saying. I saw Joel Klatt on a podcast, or I think it was maybe on Part of My Take, but he was talking about Michigan, and he said, they were talking about the Michigan-Ohio State game, and they were talking about this 4-year run that Michigan's on beating Ohio State and how awesome it's been to call those games. And they asked him about last year's game. How did Michigan with no forward pass beat Ohio State? And Klatt said, and they asked Klatt, like, what's one thing you got wrong going into that game? And he said how dominant Michigan's defensive line was.
Yeah.
Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, and the defensive ends, Josiah Stewart and Dirk. And he said, I underestimated the impact that defensive line would have on the eventual national champs. And that's kind of to the point that you're making. I mean, yes, Hutchinson's great. McNeil's good. DJ, there's good tackles, like you said. It would have been nice to add a defensive end to help Hutchinson out, because he does just get double teamed. Ted, you brought up the stat, the 0 for 5 on 4th down. Obviously, that was a huge storyline, the hate Dan Campbell was getting. What are you doing going for 4th down? So yeah, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. I've said this, whether it was some sports, basketball, baseball, when sometimes it gets down to crunch time and managers or coaches coach or manage differently, whether it's the playoffs or something. My thought is always you go down with what got you there. That's one thing that I appreciate about Dan Campbell. He's true to himself. He doesn't like shrink in the moment, or he doesn't, people might get mad at me if I go for this 4th down, so I'm not going to go for it. No, he's gambling Dan. He's going to go for it on 4th down. He doesn't every single time, obviously, but most of the time he does. And so I'm fine with it. This is the Dan Campbell that turned the Lions around, that got us to the NFC Championship. In the NFC Championship, if Josh Reynolds catches 2 of those balls, right, no one's talking about any of this. A couple of those 4th downs, it was just bad execution by Goff, or someone like Brock Wright on that one was wide open in the end zone. I think, Ted, you texted that.
Oh man.
And Goff just missed him or didn't see him. So I think that's what Campbell was kind of saying too. If a couple of those 4th downs, if they're just like executed better, it's a whole different story. So what are you guys on the same page? Like 0 for 5 though looks kind of bad on 4th down. But that
just to me was like, I don't know about you guys. It felt like within that first quarter, you realize, okay, like this is literally going to be like a 10-7 type game. Like, and I do love Dan Campbell. I'm not even really going to hate on it. It just felt like to me that was not the game to be that. And it's hard. Like that is who he is, and there's something to be said about that. Like, why would we treat the Eagles any differently than we would treat the Bears or whoever? But with a quarterback that was seeing ghosts, with the offensive line that's getting mauled, with David Montgomery ineffective, with wide receivers dropping balls. It just felt like it just like going for it. Maybe it's normally like 50%. It just felt like everything was like 20% of half of what the odds maybe would have been against any other defense, any other situation, wind conditions, everything. I don't hate it. I'm not like sitting here saying that's why we lost. I definitely don't think it helped. And to me, what was confusing is one, I hate the fake punt. Fake punt is just horrible. Right. That was just enough of that guy having the ball in his hands. We've seen it enough. We saw it in the preseason when he returned a kick and got rocked and fumbled. That should have been the number one reason this guy ain't ever touching the ball again. Then to me, it was like, why did we punt with 5 minutes left down 2 scores? Like it just felt like his mind was a little bit scattered. To me, it just felt like some of the decisions made sense. Some of them didn't. Like when we went for the 4th, I didn't hate the call going for it on 4th down when we were down a touchdown, but man, the Eagles couldn't do anything offensively. Like it's funny seeing the Eagles. Like I saw a reports like, man, Eagles are not satisfied with Jalen Hurts, and they're not happy with how this offense has been producing. It's like that's a Super Bowl team. You're 8-2, and you're still bitching like about how this offense isn't performing, and like it's just funny how good their defense really is. Like if their offense can do anything, they'll waltz to another Super Bowl. Right. But yeah, to me, I'm not going to sit here and say that's why we lost. I'm not going to sit here and say we should fire Dan Campbell. I just thought, with how that game felt, the situation, both offenses struggling, neither quarterback doing anything of worth. I just would have maybe liked to have seen us. Maybe one or two of those may take the points,
Right.
or maybe one or two of those when we're at midfield and we're barely eking out first downs. Let's just punt it, and pin them deep. Let's play the field position game. I didn't hate the ones where it's going for a touchdown to try to tie it. The ones that made no sense to me were when we're at midfield and it's early in the game, or it's in third quarter and we're just giving Jalen Hurts, who couldn't do anything, to just the ability. If he can get one first down, they're going to get a field goal, and those field goals were death by a million paper cuts, man. It's so I don't know. I didn't think it was his best game.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. I mean, I'm going to ride with Dan Campbell on his decisions, but it's fair to question different strategies, especially on fourth down. They're at their best when it's 4th and 2 or less, right? When you're 4th and 5 or 6 or even 15, I mean, there was 3 of those plays. So it's pretty tough to convert in a bad weather condition, and your quarterback is in a different world. I mean, I had to just throw this out there. He had a bad game without a doubt, and this is an old man take. Take the damn glove off your hand. It was 45 degrees. Use one of those hand warmer things on the front or something, but don't be playing around with the gloves. First of all, it's a psychological thing. You're already giving in, saying, "Oh, it's too cold for me to play football. I need to have my glove on." Come on.
Do you think
it was weird?
Do you think it's a cold thing as far as keep his hand, or do you think it's because of the weather, the cold, gripping the ball? I'd be curious if it was maybe a combination of the two.
Yeah,
keep his hand warm and to get more grip on the ball. But I saw a lot of people talking about that, and I saw some people throwing up some stats. Like they went back and found all the games that he's worn gloves, and his numbers aren't great. When he wears.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I don't know. I'm with you. The hand warmers are so and the second they walk off the sideline, they have a giant trench coat, and these guys are coddled, man. They have space heaters underneath them, space heaters on the bench. It's I don't know. I think you would have been fine just wearing the one glove. I didn't think too much of it, but now that you say it, I'm going to agree with you. Just wear the one goddamn glove.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Well, last thing. I mean, the other big story. What about the pass interference at the end? That wasn't a pass interference. So obviously, we all know that it wasn't a pass interference. It was a bad call. Collinsworth, Jared, you said you were at the bar. I mean, Collinsworth was ripping
all over it.
Was ripping that call, and so was everyone else afterwards. What do you guys think? So we know it wasn't a pass interference. It was a bad call. Should all plays be reviewable? I saw people talk about all penalties should be. We can review everything else. Why not review all penalties? I'm not necessarily going that far, saying all penalties should be reviewable. I don't know if it should be maybe under 2 minutes.
Yeah,
all penalties can be reviewable. That obviously was under 2 minutes. It's a big part of the game. Or technology is so good nowadays. You can quickly think about when there's a turnover. They can quickly, the booth can look at it. Boom. Yep. It's a turnover. Done. Exactly. Move on. Did the guy cross the pylon? Yep. He got it. Touchdown. Move on. They could easily do that before the ref is done doing all the signals and telling the penalty. They can be in his ear and be like, nope.
Exactly.
We need to go back on that.
To me, that's it doesn't even need a review. That should just be the replay center. If it's an egregious call, they should just be able to it should just be a nuclear button where you can just hit it. Yep, we're changing it. That was, who would have argued that? I mean, what pissed me off so much about that call, it wasn't like they had Tom Brady on their side throwing 35 of 40 and they're completing everything left and right, and it's if they throw an incompletion, it's a surprise. That was an offense that couldn't complete a pass. Right. And they just were bailed out on what wasn't even a competitive route, what wasn't even a competitive throw. It's just a complete bailout. That's what was sickening. But I mean, it was funny. I was watching the game with my buddy Richie, who's a diehard Eagles fan, and it's and we're at this cool uptown grill place in Waterford where it's a million Lions fans. He's the one Eagles fan. The second that play happened, he whispers me, dude, we gotta get out of here. This is not people are going up to him what the fuck is that? What was that? And he's dude, we gotta get out of here. And yeah, so to me, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, Jared Goff. Honestly, it just would have been almost maybe more comical. Just let's see if this offense could do anything. They're probably just gonna flame out, hilariously with how that game was going. But it would have been nice to at least see them get the chance.
The thought that crossed my mind when I saw the play at first, I thought, all right, good, Lions going to get the ball back. I honestly, again, with my glass half full, I thought they were going to score. Lions were going to take it at that point, score a touchdown, and take 2 points for the win. That's what I thought.
And I remember thinking that maybe before that play, Campbell should, if they somehow score, go for 2. As ugly as this game has been, if you score, go for 2. Just go for
Absolutely.
the win.
Wouldn't that have been incredible? I mean, it's like dream world now, but
until they don't get that, then it's like literally like Dan Campbell's head should be on a spike, like with all of his decisions in that game. But yeah, it's it's dream world, man. I mean, they couldn't do anything offensively. But then again, you see like sometimes these 2-minute drills, like you need that to get the quarterback out of his head. Like you saw that with Minnesota and JJ McCarthy. It's like next thing you know, they're going 2-minute drill. He marches them right down the field and scores. It's like sometimes it's like, let's just go no huddle. And I feel like Ben Johnson had a good grasp on that. Like sometimes when it changed the tempo, let's go no huddle, like that type of thing, which can help Jared Goff and the offense as a whole. Just let's gas out this defensive line. Like they were so fresh all game because we couldn't do anything. But yeah, food for thought. It's funny to think that maybe they would have scored, but probably not.
Well, 6-4, they got their work ahead of them. Giants, maybe that's the medicine, hopefully, to get the ship righted at Ford Field. So a lot of football yet to be played in the NFL.
Giants, and then a quick turnaround to Thanksgiving. So
yeah, what do you guys think about that? I mean, they're never going to get rid of the Thursday Thanksgiving game, but you have thoughts on Thursday games in general? I've read some things, a lot of people aren't liking it. It doesn't give the players enough time to recover. And the Lions got Thanksgiving on a Thursday, and they got Christmas on a Thursday on a team that's already injured. That's pretty tough.
Yep. And I think before that is another Thursday game too, right? I think they have a few. It might just be that Christmas one, but I thought they had a couple other like prime time games. Sunday night, maybe it's a Sunday night.
Yeah, they have prime time, but I think it's only those 2 Thursdays. I believe
Thursdays. Yeah. So, I mean, no, our personal opinion might be that, Thursdays are too much, but TV money is going to always win that over. We know that.
Absolutely. All right, let's just take a short break, regroup a little bit, talk a little college football next here on 3 Point Podcast. All right, guys, I'll say one thing positive about the Michigan game against Northwestern. How cool was it seeing that game at Wrigley Field, man? That was
I knew
awesome.
That's what you're getting.
It was an awesome setting. It was a great game. It was entertaining as hell. I don't know what to make of it. Bryce Underwood looked pretty good, but then he had a couple, just glaring interceptions where it looked like he predetermined it. Kuzdal ran tough at the end of the game, and that was really the key to me. Is Northwestern? What is it about them, man? They are some hard hitters. Number 6, Fitzgerald, that safety. I swear to God, he took like 10 guys' heads off during the game. He was freaking laying the lumber, and Kuzdal kept running hard as he was a walk-on, correct?
Yep.
So I thought he was my star of the game. I thought he had a few big time runs that we needed down the stretch. The defense played great. It's like I said it right as they won the game when he made that kick at the end. I hate this team. Like they keep winning, so you can't get that. You can't be that upset. But my God, it's like every game is the ugliest thing. Each week it gets uglier and uglier. Yet they keep winning. So, again, it's going to come down to Ohio State. You throw logic out the window with that game. We're going to play inspired. Underwood, seemingly, even though he took a couple steps back in the fourth quarter, took a couple steps forward to start the game and looked like they were giving him a little bit more leash. To me, by one can play with offensive play calling. I mean, it almost was due for that interception. How many times are they going to run that same RPO post, bang post, that one nearly got deflected twice on the big completion they had on it? And then 2, there's like finally they're going to burn you on that, and that's exactly what a good player like Fitzgerald did. I'm just going to drop right into this window and pick it. But they got the win, so you can't be too upset. But man, if you're Northwestern, 5 turnovers, you got to be kicking yourself. You got to win that game. Like Michigan deserved to lose that game, but they didn't. Samaj Morgan, I mean, if they trot him out for another punt return,
they better not.
I'm not even going to brag. I called that fumble. I was watching it at a friend's party. I'm like, he is going to fumble it. And then sure enough, I'm like, he's going to fumble it as he's like trying to dodge 80 guys in like just to pick up another yard. Like, yep, he's going to fumble it. And they fumbled it. And then they recovered it. It's like, he should not return another punt. I would argue he should not be on the field anymore for us. Like, we don't need him. I'd rather have Bredesen out there catching passes than him at this point. At least he's not going to fumble. But yeah, it just how mad can you be when they win? But yeah, it was ugly, but they got it done, man.
Yeah, everyone's mad. It's kind of like what you were saying about the Eagles. Eagles fans complaining about the offense or whoever, but they're sitting there at 8-2 and they're defending Super Bowl champs. It's kind of like, what are you mad about? It's kind of, I mean, obviously Michigan's not defending champs, but they're 8-2 with Maryland coming up. Take care of Maryland, and you're going into the Ohio State game with everything in front of you. Beat Ohio State. You can go to the Big Ten championship game. I think there's some other scenarios that have to play out, and you have a chance to make the playoff. So it's like, yes, you can scratch your head and be like, what the heck is going on with this offense at times? the defense is what Michigan football defense is always good, or at least like solid, good enough. But everything's in front of them. Take care of business against Maryland, and you go into the game with a chance to win and go to the Big Ten championship game. I mean, how can you really be mad? It is just, sometimes the offense can be really head scratching. The offense for the first 3 quarters was promising. I mean, Bryce Underwood was hitting those RPOs, and the run game, Jordan Marshall, I mean, hopefully he's good to go. They said x-rays were negative on him, but, he had 150 yards rushing before he got hurt, and then Cusdell, or however you say his last name, he came in and looked like he'd be a good running back too. So, I mean, like the offense was moving,
right.
And it was just those 2 interceptions that Underwood threw. Like you said, it does seem like a lot of people are saying you can almost see on the RPOs, he's like predetermining, all right, I'm going to pull on this one and I'm going to throw it when you should be making the read. I mean, it's easy for us to say sitting here in a chair talking on a podcast, but it does seem like that's maybe a freshman thing that he's doing, predetermining what he's going to do on the RPOs. But then he comes back, he throws those picks, and he comes back on that winning drive and makes a ridiculous throw to Andrew Marsh. The catch was probably better. And then he scrambled for a first down. So he still like goes out there and makes plays. So you have to give him credit for that. The kid's just 18 years old.
Right.
Like he's playing high school football last year. Like you have to give him credit on that.
How about the game that Marsh had? I mean, 12 catches, 190 yards. I mean, kid
He's
can play. We are 8-2. When I say we, the Michigan Wolverines, there's still question marks on Sharon Moore. Every week I shake my head at least 2 or 3 different things. Yeah. The one that really bugged me on that one, I don't know if you guys caught it. In the 4th quarter, they're late. He calls a timeout, giving Northwestern time to possibly come back to win. I mean, what was that timeout even for?
Right. That's one thing with him that has been since he took over has been his clock management, his game.
Yeah.
What was the game in Nebraska earlier this year? He called a timeout at the end of half, gave Nebraska the chance to throw the Hail Mary that they completed for a touchdown. There's been some, the clock management stuff has been odd. I mean, I've given my thoughts on Sharon Moore. I'm not saying fire the guy, especially, if they go 9-3 this year and win a bowl. I mean, that's, they're the youngest team in the Big Ten, but there is just it's just the demeanor. We talk about the demeanor with Jonathan Smith at Michigan State, but it's kind of like a different demeanor with Sharon Moore. It almost, I don't want to criticize it. I just don't like his demeanor.
Does it seem fake to you?
It seems fake and like also like a little pompous. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like he thinks because we're Michigan and I'm now the head coach. I don't know. And that's what I mean. I don't want to say stuff like that. I don't
I mean, he's what he does. I've seen it firsthand. He's the king of hyping up the crowd, sprinting in front of the student section and doing the Tom Brady, let's go, and, hyping the crowd. He does that a lot. He's very good at. He's the best coach at that. In the Nebraska thing, that was pogey, but to me that doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because that's the type of guy that's like feeding this guy information. Right. So it's a staff issue. It's not even just Sharon Moore. There is no Jim Harbaugh that's that just is as smart as a whip, like in terms of that sort of thing. That doesn't seem to be Sharon Moore's game. And the one thing
I've seen people say like he's still learning as a head coach. That's kind of a wild thing. You're the head coach at Michigan football, learning on the job. You should be learning like down the road at Bowling Green, and then you get the job at Michigan. But
I guess the one thing that's redeeming, and this was at the start of the year, I was like, man, where's the talent? This guy's quote unquote the talent accumulator. I'm like, where's the talent? I don't see it. But then you start seeing, okay, Marsh, freshman making plays. The big time deflection was a freshman on defense making a play. So that's where, to me, it's like, man, maybe he is starting to get some recruits in that are, hopefully going to pan out. But the thing with the portal is like, man, it doesn't matter if you have some stud freshman. If you can't keep him, guess what? His price is getting tripled in the offseason for making these plays as a wide receiver. It's like, guess what? We're going to have to pay this guy. So if you're not retaining him for when they really do pop, then it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I think every week it's questionable what he does. But if they keep winning, I guess I'm gonna hit on it too. One big time positive, Zavada has had the yips all year. You hope that game winning kick shakes him out of it because we're gonna need his leg come Ohio State. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, we talked Michigan, but we really kind of buried the lead in our college football talk. What in the hell happened over at Michigan State?
I don't know, man.
We had Harbaugh. We had the Harbaugh story, Connor Stallions. We had Michigan in the news with the NCAA doghouse for 2 or 3 years. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, The Spartans get hammered.
It's kind of comical, man. To me, the only way that it makes sense is if Michigan State said, "Please vacate these so that we don't have to pay Mel Tucker a cent."
I think so.
That's what it's kind of sad. But if you never apologize, if you never admit wrongdoing, like Michigan did, that's kind of what happened. Is we never admitted we were wrong. We fought tooth and nail to keep those wins. If Michigan State won a national championship during those years, I don't think the wins are vacated. I think Michigan State says, fuck it. Who cares? Like, these are pointless wins. Just vacate them. Now, I will say it's hilarious seeing the Connor Stallions CMU game. Like, they had to vacate that win. It's like, this shit doesn't even make sense, man. The NCAA is a joke. I still don't really, it was like they gave players impermissible benefits. I still don't totally know what they even did wrong to warrant all those vacated wins, but it's just a bizarre situation. Right? Again, nobody even, I didn't even know they were under investigation. I don't think really anybody did other than maybe the Michigan State administration's like, what the hell's going on? Again, it doesn't really matter. I think State was maybe almost happy to see that. It's like, hey, Mel Tucker, you're definitely not getting any cent from your buyout now.
Right.
But yeah, just a bizarro situation.
Well, did you see the administration apparently didn't even let Jonathan Smith know about it when they hired him, that there was this investigation going on.
Right. So, because it went through his first season as head coach. It was 2022 to 2024. Yeah. So, of course, it wasn't 2021 when Mel Tucker and Michigan State went 10-2 or whatever they did, So, the Kenneth Walker 5-touchdown game is still on the record books against Michigan. But, it was those 3 years. So, it was Jonathan Smith's first year. And I saw someone ask him about that because one of the ineligible players played 12 games for Michigan State last year. Right. Which is part of, what the penalty was. They asked him about it. And he, in his Jonathan Smith way, was basically like, so that's kind of the thing. Like, they're under investigation. You would think that the administration would be like, hey, we have this thing going on, just so you know. Seriously. Tucker might have did this and this. Right. Whatever. And maybe they did, who knows. But he sure acted like he had no idea. I thought that same thing. Like, they probably could have. It might have been something they could have swept under the rug and just kind of, whatever, made go away. But this was a way to get out of paying Mel Tucker. I thought it might be a way to get out of paying Jonathan Smith a buyout. Oh. Because if you can fire him and say it's with cause, then, you can say we're not paying his buyout. I was like, man, are we about to see Jonathan Smith get fired and then not get his buyout because he was a part of this whole thing?
How sad is it if you're a Michigan State football fan, and we have plenty of them out there, that they make these decisions because they don't want to pay the money, right? Hurt the program. We'll be on probation for 3 years. Boy, that's going to entice some big-time coach to come in if they do get rid of Smith. And we're going to cut the annual salary, whatever it is, by 1.5% or something. So they're cutting into money that's available. Who wants to go coaching that shit right now? We talked about Tony and East. Hell with that. Stay at Ferris, man. Don't be going over there.
Meanwhile, seriously, you got schools like LSU, Arkansas, Penn State. These are giving their coaches $60 million buyouts or whatever. Right. And Michigan State is trying to skirt away. It is a weird thing because the basketball program is just, so iconic, blue blood over there at Michigan State. And then the football program is just almost like a polar opposite, and we're not trying to harp on Michigan State too much. It's just crazy to see. And then, they go out there and they get beat by Penn State at Spartan Stadium, and they're winless in the Big Ten right now. So it is almost, and James Franklin just got hired at, because people have talked about James Franklin maybe being the big hire at Michigan State. He just got hired at Virginia Tech. So it is almost like you almost have to hold on to Jonathan Smith, because if you fire him, who else are you going to get?
Yeah.
I don't know who you're going to hire unless you go with a complete unknown.
No, you might as well just have him eat this and, keep him another year. They're not going to fire him. I've been saying that for a while. They don't have the money for it. And again, like you said, it seems like maybe the worst Power 5 job Power 4 job there is right now. There's a reason Luke Fickell turned it down. Wasn't that what he basically said? Like, man, just the culture here is just like bad. Like, I don't like the Nasser stuff and all that. Ever since Nasser, man, it seems like it's just been one scandal type thing after another. And what even is this scandal? I don't even know. If you would have told me Michigan was talked about every day about what happened with Stallions, and we didn't even know this happened, but yet Michigan State had a huge penalty and Michigan didn't. It's like, I'm glad that we're a big boy where they don't touch us. We're kind of like a bully, like for the NCAA, where you guys don't mess with Michigan. Like, it's kind of sad, but I'm glad that we're one of those teams. But If I'm a coach, I'm not going there. It's the worst job you can have right now.
Bad optics too. I mean, I don't know if you saw the overhead view of the game. There's half full, it's half empty,
full,
I guess is what I'd rather say. And then
Right.
how many people are going to show up for that Ford Field game against Maryland,
Especially, it's against Maryland. It's not like they brought in a decent opponent like a Minnesota, who's a pretty good team or something.
Right.
Maryland is just as bad. Yeah.
I
On
don't
Thanksgiving weekend too.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
hate-
dirt cheap tickets.
I hate the dog on the Spartans. I kind of like MSU. My
Right.
daughter's graduated from there, and I love Tom Izzo, as you know.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see the football program that way from my viewpoint, but that's the way it is.
No, it is. I mean, I'd rather them be good. Obviously, you hope that they're really good, just a step below Michigan, where we beat them every year. But
Right.
it's like the rivalry loses like this. We talked about it when they played Michigan State earlier this year. It's like the fan base is checked out. I don't blame them. It just makes that game a lot less fun. Like that's usually my favorite game of the year. It's like, man, this is just kind of like another game. It feels like right now with Jonathan Smith and everything going on with them. It's like, so I want them to be better. This sucks for everybody. It sucks for our show. It's like we hardly can. Thank God for all the scandals. Otherwise, we would never even really be able to talk about them.
Right.
It is crazy. Like you see people talk about, Michigan when the whole Harbaugh sign stuff, Stallions, they were in the midst of 3 straight Big Ten championships and eventual national champs. So they were, but it's still you talk about Michigan being a big boy.
Right.
When that scandal broke, every show. It was the lead of every show, everywhere. Every network was talking about it. Every radio show. It's all they talked about. Michigan,
Yes.
Right.
Harbaugh, Michigan. This thing happens, and I was on a show again at the SEC network. So I mean, different fan base,
Opinions,
but
right.
it was on the Paul Feinbaum show. So it's a national show, and the producers that broke. The producers started talking about it. So I was kind of like listening to hear, and they. Almost verbatim, they were like, "No one gives a shit about Michigan State. Like, we don't have to report on this." And you just know if it was Michigan, it would have been like, "Boom, make a headline for it. We got to come out. We got to talk about this right now." And again, it's not to rail on Michigan State. That's just where the football program has gone, and it's crazy to see because you were older, but there's a whole generation that their first memory of Michigan State was the D'Antonio era, and it's almost
that's mine.
Right, so it's like. They saw Michigan State, D'Antonio, like, damn, this is one of the premier programs in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
He really was taken for granted. I don't know all the full details on when he left and he wanted to kind of appoint his next person. They wouldn't let him. They wouldn't listen to him. They bitched so much about him when he was going 7-5 and 6-6, and he shuffled the deck of the coordinators. I always said, man, you guys are going to, and I think Penn State might deal with this as well with James Franklin leaving. I think I like D'Antonio a lot more than James Franklin, but he really was, not appreciated as much as he should have been, in his time at Michigan State. And they kind of, kicked him on the ass when he was on his way out, not letting him name his a successor and all that crap. And they bitched about him for the last few years that he was there, but it never was this bad, and it never would have ever got to be this bad.
Agreed, man. And I go way back. And when you look at Michigan State football history, some of their history is pretty good. I mean, you have the Biggie Mondays, where they were national championship teams. Duffy Doherty in the mid-'60s, where I started watching the Spartans. In fact, I was a Spartan fan before I was a Wolverine fan. I became a Wolverine fan because of Bob Ufer. Every game wasn't on TV, but every game was on radio. And
right.
If you couldn't get geeked up about Michigan football, listen to the Ufer. But back to Michigan State, I mean, they had Munn, Doherty in the mid-'60s, long time ago. But then George Perlis righted the ship for a while. He ran a good program. And then, like you said, D'Antonio. But it just goes up and down, and mostly down over there at MSU for football. It's too bad.
I did the math with my buddies. I would say Michigan State is maybe not nowadays. We're just with right now. That's why they should just ride Jonathan Smith out as long as they can, have him eat all the bullets, and then let's be ready to make a big splash whenever his contract is up. I don't know how long until it's up. Is it a long time?
Yeah, I don't remember what they signed.
If it is 5 years, then you're like, you can't do that. But if it's another couple years, maybe you can. It's like a top 30 job, I think. I think if you go through the list, it's a top 30 program in the country. So
there's no reason they can't be a Minnesota or an Iowa, where every year they're getting 8-9 wins, and then every 3 or 4 years you have a class come through that clicks and you contend for a Big Ten championship. There's no in some years you might dip to 5 or 6 wins, but there's no reason they can't be on a Minnesota level with PJ Fleck or like Iowa, just a consistent team. But
100% agree. Well, usually we're zoned in on Michigan football and Michigan State, but I've been more tuned into little D2 action. Ferris State, number 1 in the nation. They downed Davenport 38-23, 25th straight win for Ferris. And they won the Calder City Classic, 44-23 over Davenport. But our guy Wyatt, again, a little bit of a struggle. Tony went to the backup quarterback who had another really good game, getting them to the victory. So you guys played a lot of sports. You know what it's like. Sometimes it's not physical, it's mental. Sometimes when you go into a little slump, and it's pretty tough to bounce back from that.
He's still a young guy. I mean, he's still
is.
a true freshman. That's what was so amazing about, really what he still has done this year. It's been incredible. And Ferris is hoping to make a big run. I know they have Northwood coming up, which is going to be kind of a fun first round matchup. I'm looking forward to watching that one.
Yeah.
Good for Northwood. I mean, my God, I can't believe that they've really turned that program around, man. They were kind of like the Alma football to me, like in D2 ranks. Like, man, they're never going to be good. But to me, it's like, his number is probably going to be called again at some point this year.
It is.
And so you just got to be ready. And I think he is. I think he's going to make a big time play for him down the stretch.
Have they said have they named the backup the starter for the playoffs?
Oh no, Tony. I don't think Tony would do that right away.
If they were Michigan, where it's like they're getting these, 3-4, media pressers every day, that would be the question that's getting thrown at them every week. Or every day at those pressers, who's starting, who's this, who's that. But yeah.
My guess, just a complete guess. My guess is Wyatt will get the start, and you ride him out, and as long as he's playing well, you just keep with him. But if you have to pull him, you got the backup that could come in and get the job done, and then it might become a series by series things. Right. Who knows, right?
Yeah, that is a cool matchup. I saw some because Northwood, it's their first playoff appearance in I forget.
Since 2007, I think, or 2012.
It was 15 years or something crazy, 20 years. So that's a cool matchup. But
did I see something like they only have 2,000 or 3,000 students? Is that a fact?
It's a pretty small campus, man. We used to have a basketball tournament there, in the summer when I was in middle school and high school, and it's not much of a campus, and it's not much of a football field. It's got kind of a cool old school bleacher. On one side, in the background. In the woods, but you're like, man, this isn't much of a campus. Yeah.
It's
so that's not shocking.
Private school enrollment of just under 1,100.
Isn't that amazing?
Small.
It's like a big business school, right? That's like if you're going into business, that's like where you consider going.
Focus on business education. Yep.
Yeah. I think our buddy Rich Moffitt, I think he works for Northwood in some capacity there. Fun
matchup, man. I'm looking forward to that game. I mean, this is the thing with Ferris. It's they're never dead. That's what's kind of awesome about watching them. Is they started slow against Davenport too, and then they just come thundering back.
They wear you down.
Yeah, and it's every game. It feels like the last 5 weeks, really, since that Grand Valley game. Every game is like a spectacle. It's like, what the hell is going on? It's a wild back and forth game. So they're fun to watch. When is that game? Is it this Saturday at 1?
Saturday at 1, Michigan at 4. I got my Saturday already planned out.
Yeah.
And I will say one more time that Flow Sports television's pretty good. You get the play-by-play guys from the radio. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're a little lacking, but the production's okay. It's
solid.
It's okay. They'll show replays right away, so I enjoy watching it.
That's cool.
One other thing on college football before we move off topic, our guys from D1 Rejects were at Fenway Park last week for the Secretary Cup. Boy, they had a hell of a game there. The Merchant Marine beat the Coast Guard 39-38, and heck of an atmosphere. Almost 11,000 fans at Fenway. That's pretty good for that small.
D3, that's crazy. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool event. That was I tuned into their live stream for a little bit. It's awesome when you're sitting there. They're in Fenway Park in left field. Pretty amazing. So it's cool for those guys, and I'm glad they got a good game out of it too.
Absolutely. All right, let's take another short break. Be back with the Prep Spotlight, and we'll wrap up the program with a little Tedertainment Tonight. All right, guys, before we get to the Prep Spotlight, just briefly, because I know we're running long, touch on the Pistons. 12-2 now. They're playing great basketball, even without their star players. Yeah. Jalen Duren had 31 last night. We're recording this on Tuesday, but we talked about it last year with all the injuries, especially in the East. Pistons are primed to possibly be a top seed in the East going into the playoffs.
They are, and they're healthy right now. I know Jaden Ivey, but otherwise they're healthy. Some other teams are banged up, so that helps. And Cade Cunningham's a superstar. I mean, he's a complete superstar. He's one of the best players in the East. they've got everything right now. I mean, 14 games in, they're 12-2, but they've got everything in front of them. And I feel like right now people aren't going to buy in on the Pistons, and maybe rightfully so, until they actually like make a run and win a championship. But the teams below them have a lot more question marks than right now, at least what the Pistons do. So yeah, hopefully they can stay healthy, of course, and just kind of keep growing. And who knows, maybe like you've brought up Malik Beasley. I don't know what the update is with him, but if they can maybe add like one more guy at the deadline, like a veteran guy off the bench, that could help, it'd be big.
That was what they did last year. I thought Schroeder was a great addition at the deadline last year. They're awesome. I mean, like you said, it's why not win the East? I don't see why not. We all watched that Knicks series. I felt like they were the better team. Maybe that's crazy to say because the Knicks beat the Celtics, correct? Yeah. Obviously, they had a Tatum injury, but I don't know. I really did think that we were probably the better team and just a little bit younger, not as experienced as the Knicks. But this team's legit. It'll be fun to see when Ivy's back. You don't rush him back. Right. If I'm the Pistons, like take your time. Like we don't need to rush him back and have him get re-injured. And take your time with minute restriction when he comes back. Like let's slowly work him into the offense. But yeah, they're awesome. I mean, Kate Cunningham just announced he has like a signature shoe coming from Nike. So what else do you need to know about his star power? I mean, he's top 10 player. Who knows where he's going to take it the next 5 years. I'm glad that we have him. But yeah, they're legit, and that's what's been awesome is they've been winning games without Cade, without Dern, without Sar Thompson. Excuse me. It just seems like it's just where all the mojo is in the right direction with this team. Like where it's fun to watch. It's how we felt with the Lions a couple years ago. Where it's just like the momentum is such a powerful force with this team right now that it's like I don't care who's playing. Like they're going to find a way to win. You don't feel that right now with the Lions, but you definitely feel that with the Pistons. They can beat anybody right now.
For sure. Another quick hitter, college basketball, Michigan 3-0. They got some good games coming up, but a tough overtime win over Wake Forest. But really the big story, recording this again on Tuesday tonight, number 17, Michigan State, taking on number 12, Kentucky in Madison Square Garden, game one of the doubleheader there, the so-called Champions Classic. Number 5, Duke against number 24, Kansas, its second game. So one thing, some pretty good basketball to watch tonight, right?
Yeah, college hoops has actually been pretty good. I'm not going to act like I've tuned into every minute, but there's been a lot of really good games. Michigan has showed like there's a talent. I think it's early. I'll be curious to see this team in February, March once they played a lot. And Michigan State looks like another Tom Izzo Michigan State team. I mean, they'll be there in March. They'll be in the mix.
Absolutely. All right, let's have right now we'll do the prep spotlight again. It's presented by our good friends at the Jacobs Insurance Agency, local, independent, and trusted. And I'll just keep it in football. Senior quarterback Ty Thalen is on a roll for Pewamo Westphalia. 6 touchdowns last Friday, 290 yards, leading the Pirates past Ithaca 42-21 in our Castle game of the week in D7 regional. So they'll take on Menominee, the Menominee Maroons. I almost said morons on Saturday afternoon, 2:00 at Galen.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game, man. 2:00 kickoff because Menominee is so far away. They're in the central time zone. So they scheduled it for 2:00 to give them a little extra travel time. We will be broadcasting that game on Z92.5 The Castle, so you can check that out. Also, more statewide, Cass Tech out of Detroit continued their run with C.J. Sadler scoring 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in their regional win over Saline. But this is a cool one. Small high school football, Division 8. This is our 3-point podcast prep spotlight performance of the week. Bark River Harris advanced to the semifinals on an unreal game ender. I don't know if you guys caught any of this. Last play of the game, Glen Lake kicked off to them, right?
Right.
They had a 90-yard lateral kickoff return for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion for the win with no time on the clock.
I didn't see that. How did that not go viral, man? I don't know how I missed that.
I think I saw our friend Tyler, Michigan high school football friends. Yeah, right. I think I saw him tweet it out. That's where I saw it. But yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, here's how it went down. Glen Lake squib kicked it, which you would think you would do, right?
Yeah.
Try not to kick it deep. He kicked it to around the 10-yard line where Ben Knopf picked up the ball, ran to his right, and then stopped and threw one of those overhand pass laterals the other way, and that scored the winning or the touchdown to set up the win. That's just an incredible setup. I'd love to see the video on that.
I know. I need to, man. That's crazy. That's awesome. And the CJ Sadler thing, isn't that just one of the all-time stat lines you've seen? 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Cass Tech is on a collision course for a Sunday night 7 p.m. game at Ford Field with Detroit Catholic Central. Should be an awesome game.
Incredible. Well, let's take one more quick little break, and we'll be back and wrap this up with Tedertainment Tonight. All right, guys, I know we're running along, but we've been a while since we've talked entertainment. Who wants to start this one off?
I can start it off because, usually I'm piggybacking off of what you guys watch. I'm trying to find time to watch things. I mean, same with you guys, Ted. It seems like you're able to fit in that retired life.
I'm the retired guy.
Yeah, you have a little more of an open schedule. But I finally caught up with the first season of Landman. Mm-hmm. I know we've talked about that. We talked about Taylor Sheridan's shows a lot on this during Tedertainment. But so Landman is like his big one right now, or at least one of them. And the second season just came out. So we finished the first season, and we did watch the first episode of the second one. Are you caught up on that, Ted?
Nope, I'm not on the second season yet.
I watched it last night.
Yeah, it was just the first episode came out. But I want to. So it's a really good show. Billy Bob is awesome. It is. I'm glad we stuck with it. Now we'll probably like Yellowstone and some of the other ones. We'll continue watching it. It's good. The one thing though, it's not a criticism. It's the exact same show as Yellowstone. It's the exact same show as Yellowstone, except Texas oil fields. Yep. You got the badass dude, Billy Bob, Kevin Costner. You got his sidekick. Billy Bob in Landman has Dale, his like sidekick guy. He's the Rip from Yellowstone. The Beth character in Yellowstone, the chick, the kind of hot badass girl. That's his wife, Billy Bob's wife, and then you got the son, the son in Yellowstone, Casey. That's Cooper in Landman, so in Cooper's got like as we're watching, I'm like, this is the exact same show as Yellowstone. Same character lineup, same like formula, the drama and all that, but that's not a criticism. It's a really good show. It's funny. I don't know. It's an entertaining show. If Billy Bob wasn't in it, I definitely think I just like Billy Bob so much that I'm like, he helps carry it. Like even the first episode of season 2, I'm like, dude, and it kind of is like and what does it say about me that I'm watching it? But it's like everything is so like over sexualized, like in the show, like it's kind of, I don't know. It's like to me, it's so cheesy sometimes, but it's like, again, I'm watching it, I'm entertained by it. So what does it say about us as viewers? But yeah, it's an entertaining, good show. I just like the setting of it, man. Like with Yellowstone, what was awesome is like, wow, we're in Yellowstone. Like this is just like the visuals are awesome. Same thing with like seeing these oil rigs in like Texas. Like this is cool to see. So yeah, I'll be tuned in every episode. It's I'll be curious where this season goes. To me, what was awesome about season 1 was the world building, seeing like what it is like being a rigger, in Texas, and what would this job like kind of look like. I'll be curious, can they keep that momentum rolling in season 2?
Yeah, well, you'll be seeing those oil fields up close and personal. So.
Right. I think those are a lot more. I definitely will. I think they're also like more on the other side, like of Texas, is more so where that's at. Like that's where in the show, I think they go to like a Midland Lee football game or something like that. True. So yeah, it's in Midland. So like that's right Midland, where Permian's. Yeah. So
the quarterback, the daughter's like boyfriend or whatever, played for Permian in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that Taylor Sheridan like loves Friday Night Lights. Like, cause like even like I remember like one of the old lady like from last year from the retirement home was like Matt Saracen's grandma from the TV show, and then obviously you have Billy Bob who was on Friday Night Lights. The theme song is like Explosions in the Sky, like the same band that did a lot of the music for the movie. So it's like he definitely was inspired by Texas football and that sort of thing for the show. You can tell.
Yep.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff here, but I'm going to condense it down to a couple of documentaries. I like my docs. Have either one of you checked out AKA Charlie Sheen?
We did, yep.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago, yeah.
Oh, we did talk about it. Okay.
The turning of the page quote, yeah.
Yeah, that was well done, I thought. And, if you're a Charlie Sheen fan, it's nice to see that he cleaned his act up, and apparently has been sober for like 6 or 7 years, but he had a wild life, didn't he?
That's the understatement of the century. I mean, I don't know if anyone. I mean, maybe some of those old rock stars, Ozzy Osbourne, Mick Jagger, and some of those old '80s hair bands. But the life that he was it's something like when we were watching it. I said a couple times, like normal people like us can't even like fathom what this life would be like. The money he had,
Yeah.
the schedule he was working, the parties, the just never sleeping for days. Like, we can't even fathom what that would be like,
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and he didn't hold back anything either.
Right.
I mean, it was all revealed, and a lot of weird stuff that went on in his coke and haze that he had happen. I won't even get into that, but it was
Right.
crazy. We did talk about it. The other one I wanted to mention was Being Eddie Murphy. That's on Netflix as well. Really well done. A lot of film clips from early in his career all the way up to being a movie star, and he had quite a life too. He's had quite a 50-year career here in entertainment.
Yeah, his stand-up. I've watched a little bit of his stand-up. He was obviously, that's where he got to start, but then he kind of made his mark with the like funny Nutty Professor movies, Daddy Daycare, those kind of movies.
Yeah. And the
But
donkey.
I know he had
Shrek.
a lot more than that. Yeah.
But it's a good doc if you get a chance to watch it. It's a little less than 2 hours, one timer, very well done. So those are my 2 tips for the week.
Nice.
Love it. Yeah, I was say Landman was what I was going to bring up, so we already talked about that. So yeah,
all right.
Now it's time for football.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here, watch some basketball tonight, and get ready for next week. So again, congratulations, Jared, on your new gig. We look forward to hearing more about all kinds of sports in the Houston area, man.
3
We're
Point
not going to root
Podcast
for the Astros, though. We're Tiger fans.
Right. 100%.
3 Point Podcast is going to be all over the country now.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
That's good news. Well, let's wrap this up. We're brought to you, as always, by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Follow them on Facebook. Download the Wellness Center app. Stay up to date on everything Wellness Center going on. Also, thanks to AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Shook and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair and ALS of Michigan. Our next Z92.5 Castle Game of the Week, the D7 semifinal, coming up Saturday, November 22nd, 2 o'clock at Gaylord High School. 11-0 PW taking on 12-0 Menominee. Should be a great one for Casey and Bart to call on Saturday afternoon. That'll do it. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. Thanks for listening.